contrary to popular belief, I'm not actually dead. Just mostly dead.
Mostly dead? He's slightly alive.
I apologise for being out of action for so long. Panto season took its toll this year, what with 3 rehearsals a week and people dropping out and trying to direct as well as act. Then another show started rehearsals and I was out 5 evenings a week. Even if I sleep for the rest of my remaining mortal life, it will not be enough. But that's over now, so I can get back to more important things like complaining about random books. To ease myself back into this, I decided to go with a relatively easy read, or reads. The Girl Who Speaks Bear and The Castle of Tangled Magic, both by Sophie Anderson, are children's fantasy books inspired by Slavic folklore. She has written other books too, including The House with Chicken Legs, based on the Baba Yaga legends, which I read a few years ago and really enjoyed. Therefore, I was very excited to come across these two in a charity shop. What I like about these books, aside from the obvious, is that they feel relevant to adults as well as to children. They are kiddie, but they do touch on themes around identity, home and family, which I think a lot of adults and teenagers can understand and find importance in. The Girl Who Speaks Bear follows Yanka, a girl who lives in a small village beside a mighty forest. She feels ostracised for being noticeably taller and stronger than her peers. One day, after a nasty fall at a festival, Yanka realises she really isn't like other girls when she wakes up with bear legs. No, not those sorts of bear legs. That's better. Reluctant to go to hospital to be poked and prodded, Yanka runs into the forest to discover the truth about where she came from and who she is. The Castle of Tangled Magic takes place in the strange and wild Castle Mila, bursting with magic and secrets. Olia loves exploring the castle and its labyrinth of ever-changing rooms. However, when a storm threatens the castle, Olia discovers another world hidden beyond Mila's walls, whose fate is intertwined with her home's. And if she doesn't discover the truth before the storm arrives, everything will be destroyed. These two stories are unrelated, and all of Anderson's books work as standalones, but they do take place in the same universe, and there are small Easter eggs that link them together. So whilst you can read them in any order, or indeed only read 1 or 2 if not all appeal, if you like one, you'll probably enjoy all of them, and it is worth trying to read them in order of publication, but it's not essential. Anyway, let's get into it. These books are first and foremost lovely stories, really fun and engaging with a wide range of characters. I suppose if I was being really picky, A Girl Who Speaks Bear was a bit slow and I wasn't quite as invested, but I think they would keep most kids' attention. And interspersed throughout it were these folk stories that came together to build a bigger narrative, and I really enjoyed those. They were probably the highlight of this for me. I liked the characters. Olia and Yanka are both very active protagonists who carry their stories well. It helps that they both have a clear goal in mind, so even though they are travelling through unknown places, we still have that world-building element present. The stories don't lose focus too much. There are some really great side characters too. In The Girl Who Speaks Bear, Yanka has this house weasel called Mousetrap that goes on the adventure with her, and he is excellent. And there are a whole host of fun side characters in the Castle of Tangled Magic too, including Felix the Domovoi, which is a house spirit who presents as either a fox, a man, or somewhere in between. There's also Koshka, the witch-turned-cat, who I liked. Mostly because she's a cat, but I enjoyed her snark and hatred of people too. I think the world building was pretty good throughout both. The woods in The Girl Who Speaks Bear and the magical land and house in the Castle of Tangled Magic were great settings and all woven with intrigue, giving the impression of a very deep, rich world, which we are only scratching the surface. I also liked Anderson's decision to keep lots of the original Russian or Slavic words for things, such as the clothes and foods and creatures, rather than translate them into English. It really helps to immerse the reader in that world. As I said earlier, I think the themes are quite nice. Girl Who Speaks Bear is very much about identity and belonging and family. Yanka has to go on a quest to discover who she is, where she came from, and where she's supposed to be. If you're born in one place but grew up somewhere else, then where are you truly from? Twisted Magic has a similar-ish theme about home, what makes a place your home. You could probably do a socio-political read of it with regards to people who are moved on from their ancestral homes, most famously with the Native American peoples. Does the next generation have any claim on their parents' ancestral home? And what do you do about the people who live there now? The metaphor only stretches so far, however, though because of that, I think this one, more than the other one, could have a direct sequel, or at least have the what happens next feature more heavily in another book. Both books are quite heavy with the themes of growing up. Yanka waking up with bare legs feels like a metaphor for puberty. She is around the right age to start noticing the changes in her body, like hair where there was no hair before. And the end of Ollie's adventure feels like the end of childhood, as it were, the loss of something you can never quite recapture, no matter how hard you try. It was quite sad, really, despite it being overall very light-hearted, which is difficult to achieve, so well done. And overall, these books are just so whimsical. And I love Whimsy. The characters are a little thick, which is maybe an odd thing to say about a kid's book, but the mysteries presented aren't really that difficult, and considering the main characters are about 12, I imagine most kids reading these would be in that 8 to 12 bracket and are probably smarter than these books give them credit for. In the Castle of Tangled Magic, there's this maze that the characters have to navigate using riddles, and it was just a bit too easy for no one to have solved this yet, especially considering they're all relying on the 12-year-old to solve it when there are two characters of adult age at least there. It kind of gave me computer game vibes where everyone else has to be dumb so the playable character is the only one guessing. But the adult characters have a cutscene of questioning you if you select the wrong one. I don't know. The Castle of Tangled Magic also had a bit of telling over showing problem. We had several instances of the narration telling us how Olia feels. She's worried or scared and just wants to do the right thing and save the house because she loves the house. And I'm there like, I know. You've told us already. I understand your emotions. Just get on with it. Like, combined, there are probably pages of the same spiel which could have been cut out. I suppose if you're a cynical person, then you might find the themes and messages a little twee and over-egged, but I think you can get away with it in children's literature. I would have liked a little more of the magic in Castle of Tangled Magic. There's some in the beginning, but because she spends most of her time in the magical world, we don't get that much, which is a shame because it sounds really fascinating with all these domes full of random things and secret passages and hidden doors. I wanted more of that, or for it to be more incorporated, but I suppose it would be a struggle considering what the actual plot is. I also would have liked more sense of world in The Girl Who Speaks Bear. The world building we have is very good when you concentrate on the realm of the village and the woods, but I don't really understand the world outside of it. It feels quite oldie-worldy, but when they talk about hospitals, it really took me out of the story. And they add elements like the fact the forest is on the coast, which hadn't been mentioned previously, or there's a volcano there, and it's just a bit jarring. All in all, I did enjoy these books. They're fun, creative, poignant at times, and it's very refreshing to see such an interesting and varied set of folklore at the heart of a fantasy. Now that my very busy and theatrical winter is over, I do hope to become regular with these again, and I do have some other projects in mind too, which should be good fun. Until next time, bye.